Would I advise anybody to get married early? No. Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Daniela Ukwa, the Daniela Ukwa, and you're welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're so welcome. We're talking about how I got married early. Why did I get married early? So I got married at the age of 22. Traditionally, so if you're from Nigeria, you would know that there is something called the traditional marriage, and there's something also called maybe your legal wedding, or maybe your religious wedding. And so I got married at 22 traditionally, which was my ibanku. I looked all cute and all, like a very sweet bride, walking down, dancing. You guys, I won't even tell you about my culture in Arochukwu, Abia State. See, from these videos, my waists were aching. They made me get. That's not the topic for this video. That's not what we're talking about. But I was in pain. I already pictured how I was going to shake my waist on my wedding day, only to find out that these people were going to wear me 8 heavy beads on my waist. I couldn't even dance. I thought I was moving my waist. Nothing was shaking. But story for another day. So growing up, this story is not going to be complete without telling, the background of my upbringing. Growing up, my mom, bless her soul, she's one of the greatest influences in my life, and I acknowledge that. When I was growing up, my mom would always call us together. So we're 4 girls in my family and 2 boys. And she would speak to us about getting married and how she hoped that we would all get married by the age of 24. And talk about the ethnic group or tribe she would love us to get married to or marry from. And she would tell us that we should talk to God about our husbands, pray about it. So you just imagine, like, let's say from the age of 8, I have been visualizing marriage. Now, interestingly, you would expect that for someone that had this kind of background, you would automatically be inclined to getting married early. Well, subconsciously, maybe that was at the back of my mind. But in reality, growing up as a teenage girl, as a young girl, I just didn't understand the concept of marriage. It was so scary to me. Like, the fact that somebody will be stuck with a particular person for the rest of their lives. And whatever the person does, you're at their mercy. If the person decides to dishonor your marriage, dishonor your union, and cheat on you, you're literally at their mercy. And so I realized that I was so overwhelmed with the fear of marrying the wrong person. Now, there's something about being overwhelmed with just seeing failed marriages that don't look like what you want to have. Imagine, having an uncle or an aunt that would literally, run to your mom for succor because the man wants to cut off her head. It's almost, he's beating her to soup. And I'm just like, why would I want to get married if this is what's going to happen? And so that was the genesis of me being scared of marriage. I like the idea of marriage. I mean, it's cool to have someone that you would love and that would love you back and, you can spend the rest of your life with. But it's scary because, what if you choose wrongly? Guys, that was the beginning. Subconsciously, I was projecting. So all through my teenage years, secondary school, I just wouldn't fall in love. I would have boyfriends, but the relationship would not mean that much to me intentionally. And so I realized that I was picking boyfriends, or I was saying yes to guys who I knew that I could not, who I knew did not have the power to persuade me into falling in love. You know how people say, oh my God, my boyfriend, we're going to get married when we grow up in the next 5 years, 10 years. I'm like, I'm literally in just 2. It says 1, what am I thinking about marriage for? I just don't want any boy that's going to come into my life and make me do things that I don't want to do, that I'm not ready for. Example, sex. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't want anything of that sort just yet. Again, back to my mom and her indoctrination. See, this story is not complete without her. Growing up, I got into uni, again, still being that person who was manipulative because I just didn't want to be seen as weak, and so I wouldn't give my all into a relationship. And so all the relationships I had were basically out of my head. I'm not going to be falling head over heels. Everything I'm going to be doing is calculated. The way I'm interacting with you is calculated. hard guy, the girl that always wanted to be in control, got into a relationship that was, taking a very weird turn, and was seeming like, this your hard guy is not going to continue for long. And then that was how I was able to break out of that. And not just break out of that, God took me through a journey of learning to surrender myself and embrace his idea of marriage. And then after giving my life to Christ, really accepting his love for me, I now started to have a different perspective of marriage. I started understanding that God made marriage to be beautiful. And so immediately I realized that. I also realized that I didn't have enough godly examples for marriage. And so that was part of the things that made me scared. I'm going to do another video of how to get over the fear of marriage. So if you're young, or even if you're not so young and you're afraid of getting married, that video is for you. Definitely look out for it. In the meantime, if you're enjoying this video, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment and tell me, how old were you when you got married, or how old do you think you would be when you would get married? Just learning about the sacredness of marriage just changed it for me. Knowing that marriage could be beautiful, marriage could be honorable, with the bed undefiled, marriage could produce, it is one of the most important decisions anybody can make, because it can literally take your world, your life up there, or you can take it down below. And God started talking to me about his intent for marriage. And it intrigued me, but I just still felt like, oh my God, I just got into the deeper relationship with you. I'm enjoying my fellowship. I'm enjoying my quiet time. You are so real to me now. You are so real to me now. I just really want to focus on you. While I was doing that, God had other plans. And guess what? I'm part of the literally 0.01% of people that say, God showed me my husband. And you're going to hear about it either in this channel or in our couple channel, Bobo and Cheesy. And so that was how everything changed from 0 to 100. And we began to, then a long story, then we began our courtship at the age of 18. I was 18. And that was how it happened. After God showed me who my husband was, shortly after my 18th birthday, you guys, I was literally 18 years old. And here is God telling me about who my husband is, who my husband will be. I'm like, Daddy, I'm not ready. You have a whole story for another day. If you'd like to hear the story, comment. I need your comments on this video. Now, let's get into why I wasn't scared to get married. So the first thing was that I knew it was the will of God. I told you that God had shown me that he was my husband. So I wasn't in doubt as to whether it was him. The only eyebrow I would have raised is if we were ready, mentally, spiritually, physically, to go about that journey. And that was why our courtship, took the turn that it took in terms of the number of years and in terms of the activities that went into our courtship. I keep saying courtship and not dating, because courtship is usually with the intent of getting married. And so because we already knew before getting into a relationship, we never dated. We were just in a courtship for 3 years plus, right? That was why I wasn't scared. I just knew that I was doing something right, in line with the will of God, and God was backing me up. The second reason why I wasn't scared to get married at the age of 22 was that my partner and I were on the same page. We shared the same values. We wanted to see it work. We both had weird examples that we had seen in society, in family, that we did not want to replicate. And so we were conscious of doing it right. And I think that in itself really gave me the comfort that we're about to do something different, because we just did not want the average relationship or the average marriage. That made me so confident to say, oh, I can beat my chest. We are of the same page. When the Bible says, be of one mind, right? That was what happened to us. Then the third reason why I wasn't scared was that aside God telling us, we're supposed to be together, we had multiple confirmations. I'm talking confirmations where we book on, period of fast, and we hear the same scripture in our prayer time. I know, you just know that you people are in sync. It was deeper than normal. It was not so much about physical attraction, or it was about knowing we're so purposeful. And that's what this channel is about. Purposeful living living to please our maker, the one who designed us and knew who we'll become. And so that made me so comfortable. Number 4 reason, and not the last or the least, but the last for this video, is that we were conscious of our purpose individually. We knew what we were called to do. And the fact that by the time we knew we were getting married to each other, or we were going to be together for life, we could see how our callings, our purpose, what our assignments on this earth intertwined. And it's just so, I don't know how to put it to you, but I've seen relationships where the wife or the woman is on one wavelength, and the husband is here, or the husband is here, the woman is here, because they don't share the same values, they don't believe, they don't have the same faith experiences. One is trying to persuade the other that, oh, God can really speak to you here, and the other person is trying to say, you're exaggerating, you're too religious. And so just being sure, like, the comfort that we both had the same convictions on major issues was so comforting to me. And it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. Would I advise anybody to get married early? No, I would not advise everybody to get married early, because there are different situations, there are different circumstances, there are different people are different. Your outcome may not be my outcome may not be your outcome. But I would say that generally it is a beautiful thing to be able to find someone that you can do life with and shares the same values as you, and is your friend. But I would say that getting married at 22 wasn't scary at all for me. It was one of the things that I looked forward to. And 6 years down the line, we have so many lessons. See, the fact that God showed you your husband does not mean that your marriage just be like this, you'll just be flying. No, that's not how it happens. You've got to put in the work. I was just talking to one of my friends about how many books we read during our courtship, and how our courtship went from 0 to 100 because we decided to be intentional and we just started to fight. And so that was how it began. 6 years down the line, we are happy to do life. I'm happy to, when I see young people who want to get married, I say to them, ask yourself, why do you want to do it? If you feel comfortable, and then make sure you're prepared for it. If you're prepared for it and you've got opinion about it, why not? If not, it could be a beautiful journey. I personally would recommend it if you want to, or if you desire it. I would, say to you, good job, go for it. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for watching. Of course, it's your first time here because this is my first YouTube video. This channel is about to take a different turn. This is the YouTube channel you did not know you needed. So do me the honors of subscribing, of liking, of sharing, of commenting. I want to hear from you. I want to, just hear your thoughts about my journey, hear your journey, and hear your fears. And I hope to do a video on how to overcome the fear of getting married.